I'm Joe Lee, and this is Life in HD, curated stories and conversations for a better you and a better community. We continue our series on improving health and wellness with a look at financial health. Let's face it, a healthy financial position is a means to living a fulfilling life. You need not be rich to do it, but you do need stability. Today we are going to focus on women and finances. Specifically, we'll focus on whether or not women are taking control of their finances. A look at recent headlines suggests that some attention is needed in this area. From CNBC, women need to take an active role in their financial lives. From Forbes, do women really need financial advice for women? From CNN Money, it's 2018. Why are women still giving their husbands control of their finances? We'll discuss this with a financial planner who says that women are often surprised by what they learn about their financial situation after a divorce or death of a spouse. Here's our show. According to a CNN Money article, a report from USB found that 56% of married women leave investment and long-term financial planning to their husbands, and 85% of women who defer to their husbands feel that their spouses are more educated on financial matters. And it's not just older women. Millennial women are more likely than any other group to leave investment decisions to their husbands. To further explore this subject, I spoke with Kathy Longo, a certified financial planner and author of Flourish Financially, Values, Transitions, and Big Conversations. She is also president and founder of Flourish Wealth Management. How are you today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. We wanted to talk to you about, we're doing a series on health and wellness, and of course that includes financial health and wellness. And you have been focusing lately on the financial health of women. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is definitely one of my passions.
And one of the things you've been focusing on is around the question of whether or not women are still relying on men for their financial planning.
Yes, that is true. Studies are showing that women are, not all women, but there is still women deferring the decision making and the management of the finances to the man in the relationship.
Mm-hmm. And it seems kind of I don't want to say odd, but it seems like obviously more women are in the workplace. More women have access to planning for retirement. Some women who are in commercial businesses have access to stock plans and bonuses, and yet they're still deferring these decisions when it comes to money that they're earning to men. Or are we specifically talking about women who are working from home, stay-at-home moms?
No, so even though, all of those financial changes and women controlling more dollars and making more money, they're still deferring. There's a study out there that says 56% are still deferring those decisions to a man in their life. And there is arguments of, should one person take control? But what I see is that in the situation of like a death or a divorce or something unexpected, that it can be a really hard area to start to get up to speed on the finances. And so I really think that both members in that couple have to be knowledgeable and ready to handle finances at all times.
And what trends are leading you to focus on women in financial planning? What's going on? We talked about it just a touch a minute ago, but are there larger trends that you're seeing that are making you focus on this phenomenon?
So there's been another study out there that came out a few years ago that shows that 70% of women will leave their financial planner after a death or a divorce. And so for me, I have seen that women are saying that their needs are not being met in a traditional financial setting, which for some of them is, they are then making the decision not to show up or be part of the meetings or put themselves in an environment where they can learn and get that confidence so that they can be prepared and ready for any financial situation or life transition that comes their way.
Is it a lack of interest from some women that you're seeing that's resulting in this?
Yeah, I think that sometimes that is maybe what they'll say, and and they'll also cite being too busy or just not enough time, and I totally hear that. It does take time to sit down and meet on finances. But I think if we start to think about the what ifs that happen and how they would feel being unprepared in such a situation like a divorce or a death of a spouse, that's a lot to master in such an emotional time, and having to start to manage the finances. So I think it can be made a little bit more easy if the spouses commit to having regular meetings to discuss finances. And one can take the higher lead, but both have to be in the know of what's happening on the financial front.
Uh-huh. And what are some of the situations that you're seeing with some of your clients when there is a divorce or death of a spouse? What kinds of surprises typically do people come across?
So I've seen a whole bunch of them, but because that type of transition is usually what drives somebody to then look for financial help if they didn't have it prior.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've seen where the woman was really surprised with the amount of debt or lack of savings that was out there.
Mm-hmm.
They thought that their husband was, doing a much better job of managing the investments, and yet they didn't have enough resources to not have to change something drastic in their life, whether it was, going back to work in the outside of the home in in a higher paying job, or having to change a lifestyle, or having to sell a house.
Mm-hmm.
So I have seen that happen. I've seen even on the life insurance. Life insurance has a place. As couples are still building their assets, but where that wasn't really looked at to make sure that there was time to experience that change and not have to make any drastic changes like a house sale or heading back to work right away after the death of a spouse.
Big life changes like divorce, death of a spouse, or even job loss can unveil some big surprises. So ladies, in a partnership, you have to be aware of your financial standing. Imagine getting a divorce late in life and discovering that you have crippling debt. The savings that you thought you had never existed. And what are some of the financial areas that many women are least prepared when they find themselves alone?
So it's everything from if they were deferring all of it, it's the day-to-day bill paying, how to live within a budget, how to understand savings goals, to how to think through emergency funds, how to make all of those financial decisions that if they weren't a part of the decisions in the past, and you could even be getting organized or knowing what are the different assets and different accounts out there, or what kind of debt do we have out there. That's a lot to try to understand.
So what can you do, or what should you do? Kathy says you should start by getting a complete picture of your financial assets and debt and proactively seek help. And what are some of the first steps that women can take to improve their financial literacy?
I think that it's, starting to understand the kind of lifestyle they're spending. So the difference between their wants versus needs, understanding just getting organized around what the accounts are out there, and any debt that's out there. I think having regular meetings of understanding what the purpose of the dollars are for. So what are they saving for in the future, and what goals do they have together? I think those all start to bring confidence. I think having an advisor that they feel comfortable that they can talk to, because there's, back to that statistic that 70% of women leave their advisor, there's something in that relationship. They're not finding it interesting to show up to the meeting. And so then they look for somebody who, really is willing to talk and help and educate them.
Mm-hmm. Is it important for them to find someone on their own, if there is a divorce or death, and women sort of inherit the financial planner that their husband chose? Do you see it as more important that they go out and get someone that they can build a relationship with?
Yeah, I definitely do. And I think that if they were to say, okay, it's not normal to, like with our client relationships, both of the individuals show up for the meetings, and it's because we're having like meaningful conversations about what the purpose of the dollars are for, and we're not speaking in jargon and hard to understand terminology, which just makes some people's like eyes just glaze over and not be interested in the conversation anymore. So yes, it's important at that point, if they don't have a good relationship with their advisor, to find somebody that they feel that they can talk to. But it can be done even before, while they're still married. I'd say if your advisor is not meeting your needs, look for one that meets the needs of both individuals.
The bottom line is, don't leave your financial future up to someone else, even if it is the love of your life. Here are some things that you can consider. 1. Understand all of the accounts, even those that aren't in your name. You'll want to at least have an understanding of your total marital assets and debt. Work together to know your net worth. 2. Set your financial priorities together. Know what's important to each of you. If one of you wants to buy a new car while the other wants to save for retirement, there's a disconnect. It's important to be on the same page. 3. Handle debt together. The credit rating can be negatively impacted by the credit activity of your spouse. Know the complete debt picture and devise a plan together to address it. 4. Don't keep big financial secrets. Not being fully engaged in your household financial management can invite financial infidelity. Knowledge is key. 5. Depending on your stage in life, make sure life insurance policies are being paid, up to date, and adequate for your financial needs. And 6. Make sure that you are fully engaged with the financial planner if you have one. While you and your partner may have different attitudes and approaches when it comes to money, it's important to enter planning discussions with an open mind. Whatever you do, keep an eye on your coins and secure the bag. Thanks for listening to this episode of Life in HD. On the next Life in HD, are you mentally prepared to deal with your family this holiday season?
We're talking about the holidays, and the interesting thing is, to your point, the holidays, it's a beautiful time of year where family, friends, loved ones come together, and typically there's some sort of angst or anger. And we carry our past with us. And if we don't realize that, and we carry past hurts with us into the holidays, which people do every year, and they wonder why it goes sideways, it's because not understanding that you're carrying that past hurt and you don't know how to express it.
My next guest talks about controlling anger for greater peace during these stressful situations. Thanks for listening. Music featured in this episode is Love Me Forever by Audio Binger under Creative Commons license. Visit joebelee.com for show notes and past shows. Until then, take care.